Once again to the CharisFolks talk show. Today's edition, we're going to be talking about US and Canada Scholarship Guide. I am going to be your host today. My name is Victor Joe, and today I'm going to be talking us through, grad school opportunities for young people to explore in these two countries. And you can also apply what you learn here for schools in Australia, New Zealand, especially even Brazil. You can apply whatever it is that you're going to be learning today to all those schools in those areas. I'm not so much of an expert when it comes to schools in Europe, so um, but you can always make do with the information that you're going to be getting here. So without wasting too much of our time, I'm going to run us through, just the guideline, the summary of the guideline that I have for us today, um, and then I'll pick somebody on the group, one person on the group, or on the chat, who would be willing to volunteer as a would be willing to volunteer for us to use them as a case study for this process. So when it comes to US and Canada scholarship guides, I want you to know that this is one of the easiest and cheapest routes in terms of um, cost, and as well as the most, um, yeah. So I would say the easiest and cheapest, because easiest in the sense that when you come, you're starting from, it's a very, very, very good opportunity, because when you go to these countries through this route, you're starting from a prestigious point compared to a lot of other immigrants, right? Especially as a young person. Another prestigious route that you would have gone through would be, maybe you got a job in these countries and they were willing to sponsor your visa. But in that case, you still not be, you know, you still not be as prestigious as someone who came here on a scholarship and was funded by the school or the government, and then you are able to, with your degree, compete for more opportunities when you come here, as well as compete for more opportunities in other countries. And I would like to also say that even though there's a lot of things that are going on right now as far as immigration is concerned with the USA, I want you to understand that this is just a phase. This is not new, and this is peculiar to this administration. Um, the US is always looking for graduate students. The US is always looking for PhD students, because the US prioritizes research, and will always prioritize research. Like, research is like the backbone of the United States. And so they are always looking for young people to come and do research in the United States. Also, they are looking for opportunities and ways to strengthen their workforce. And this is one of the ways that they do that. And so there will always be investments coming into this area. You just have to dance to the tune of the current administration in power, finding areas that they prioritize right now and tailoring your research interest in that area. So one of the advice I would give you again is, don't just look for research areas that are comfortable for you. Look for research areas that are in demand, because those are the areas that the scholarships and the fundings are going into now. Okay, and that also applies to Canada. For Canada is beginning to lean more towards people that can speak French. So if you can speak French, it's a plus for you, um, for Canada, as far as Canada is concerned. And with your pathway to immigration is kind of, at least last time I checked, is kind of more straightforward and prompt when it comes to Canada than with the US. The US, for your immigration, I mean, like, you getting a green card after graduation, the probabilities are good, but you have to also put in the work. Like you have to be, it has to be, that you deserve it and you earn it, you know, as a researcher or as a student. So, and if you feel like, oh, I don't want to be a researcher, I just want to, you know, be someone that maybe a tech person or a tech startup, or you want to start a business or you want to work in an industry, this still doesn't stop you from doing that. This just gives you access into the country. All right. Um, so as we go through this list, I'm going to go through this list, then I'm going to pick somebody as a case study, like I mentioned earlier, so that we can go through um, the practical side of things. So for the graduate research and teaching assistantship, so one of the ways that you can get funded is through securing the graduate research and teaching assistantship position, which is very competitive, right? But if you you know put into your um, work some of the considerations or some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today, it's going to really help you. So like as a graduate research and teaching assistant, basically what you do as a graduate research assistant is to be working in like a research lab, assisting a professor doing research. And then you're going to be paid for that research. Plus, you're also going to have your school fees covered. Like you're not going to have to pay for school fees. And then you're also going to be paid monthly, right? Just to be able to take care of you and, live your life and cover daily expenses. Same, as a teaching assistant, you're going to be assisting a professor with either teaching in a class, grading assignments, attending office hours, like um, see if students have questions and assist with, attending office hours. Um, while there are also external scholarships or school scholarships. So when you check the website, you can always, check the school's website for external scholarships. You can also check out, I just discovered this link. I just discovered this link. You check it again. But like this is also a good link to explore external scholarships aside from the one that the school is offering. And people that may be considering undergraduates. So most of the scholarships I've seen for undergraduates are usually merit based or maybe sports based. So if you are someone that is very good with sports, that can be one route to pursue. But today we're going to be focusing more on grad school because, and the reason is because as a graduate student, it's cheaper for you to finish your undergrad in Nigeria, and then you gain more grounds. You'd have gained more grounds that way. It's cheaper for you. It's easier for you, and then you can then apply for grad school at the end of your undergrad. And if you are currently going through your undergrad, this will help you be more focused as to some of the things to start paying attention to before you graduate, especially if you are looking into exploring these opportunities. Then the next thing is you need to search for the schools that you want. You need to um, search for schools that you want. Maybe, I'm going to show you. Okay, let me just, because there's really no time. So let me just start now. Is anybody willing to volunteer to be used as a case study for this? Okay, somebody raised up their hand. Mr. Augustine, it's good to see you here.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. All right. Mr. Augustine, what is your area of interest?
Okay, my area of interest, medical and environmental geology. Like
Okay,
yes, basically environmental geology.
all right. Medical and environmental geology. Okay,
Yes.
so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pick you as a case study today, just to guide people. Now, this is by popular demand. I want to make this as comprehensive as possible so that people can go back to it. Well, it's also live on YouTube. It's going to be available, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't engage in it live. So because I also take questions, as we go. All right. So now the first thing is, sorry, you said you are into
Environmental geology, sir.
okay, environmental geology. Let me just write it so that I don't forget. You said medical and environmental geology.
Sir. Yes.
Okay. Now, the first thing you want to do is, you know what this means. It's best known to you, right? So you might not find a direct, you might not find a direct program that says medical and environmental geology, right? But what you might find would be maybe a geology program that where you now have a research focus in whether medical and environmental or medical or environmental. You get. So to do that, you need to you can just a quick way to start would be you can just go on Google and say schools in USA. This is just a lazy route offering PhD. So now I would highly recommend that you do a PhD, that you go on for a PhD. Why? Because PhDs are always funded. Like they always have funding for PhD. As far as the US is concerned, and most of Canada and even UK. US is always PhD is always recommended. That's one reason why I recommend PhD. Second reason why I recommend PhD is because it gives you a longer time to be able to settle down and transition from student um, to whatever, maybe PR or whatever it is you want to settle in or even get a job. So you can come in with your PhD, and then if you find that, oh, this PhD is does something that I think is working for me, is maybe stressing you or you're not able to finish it, you can just get your master's and all right, you can just get your master's and then leave and then go get a job. But, with the current climb now where, there's a lot of immigration things going on where you need to an ideal situation for you to get a job would be that you already have a green card, like in the US, for instance. Being on a PhD, you can be very, very wise and smart, working towards getting your green card before you finish your PhD, because PhD takes 4 years. And then if you are feeling like, oh, I'm an undergrad, I don't have a master's, in the US, you can come into a PhD directly from your bachelor's, and then you can decide to get your master's along the way before you then get your PhD. Or you can just decide, okay, I'm just getting my PhD without my master's. But most people get their masters along the way. Because after you get your masters, then you can use it to apply for like your green card or something, or even apply for a job. So um let's see. Mm, let's say offering PhD in medical and Oh, sorry, geology. So is it like science or engineering?
It's science, sir.
Okay, not engineering. Oh, so they even have funding.
See medical and medical geochemistry. Wow. Ah,
Okay.
okay. Mm.
I'm not finding any school in the US. But like I said, this looks more popular. Geology looks more popular. So what I would just do would be um this thing is work actually. And one of the things I would say is so that what we're doing here will not be a waste of time. Let me clear your mind, like it's work. So you need to dedicate at least 1 hour to 2 hours per day to work on this. But when you know what to do, it will be easier for you, right? And this is like the best time to start working on it because yes, there's a ban on Nigeria, but that ban can be lifted because they will always review it. They review it this June and December, and then like they review it every 6 months. So that ban might be lifted before next year. Before next year, fall, right? Fall is our advice that you're applying against fall next year. And then it's also strategic because a lot of people are giving up on the US. Lots of people are, pulling out their application, not really submitting their application as much as before. And what will end up happening is that people that are ready, people that know what to do in their profile, people that have prepared their profile, some of the things that are listed here, your CV, your GPA is strong, your work experience is solid, your research publication is going, your GRE, all those things, you have prepared all those things. You are the people that are going to be considered by the time the whole thing is lifted because you did not give up, you submitted your application 1 year prior. So when you go to these sites, right, um, you can find schools through these sites based on the different countries. But today we're just going to focus on North America, um, and then you choose your country. And again, you don't need to have a laptop to do all these things. The only place where you probably need a laptop would be maybe for preparing documents, which I think you cannot still even do on your phone if you have Google Docs, right? So you go to the United States. And then when you go to the United States, now one of the things I always recommend is go for states that are not very popular. Like I'm sure there are states here that you've never heard before, right? Every every state every state in the US has schools that have funding for you, and they have schools that have what you want because every state in the US operates like a country on their own, right? So there's no state that you go to that you won't find a school that has what you want. So it's all about going in one by one. Also, if you're a Christian, you can be sure to follow your intuition or follow the leading of the Holy Spirit, right? So look for states that are not so popular. Another thing again is that states that are not so popular, their cost of living are not usually that much. So you can be sure that you'll be able to save a lot and be able to transition easily, away from your student status to other status when you get there. But today, if you go to Texas, Texas is not really that expensive, but it's still expensive to some extent. But it's not that expensive. And there's a lot of opportunities in Texas, but it's popular, right? How many of us here have heard of Idaho before? Has anybody here heard of Idaho before? Okay, Sister Lucy is an Americana. She has heard of Idaho. All right. So let's say you want to pick Idaho, right? Now, when you go to Idaho, for instance, no, let's not choose Idaho. Mm, let's start from Ohio first. Let me start from right. So now, Mr. Augustine, what you do is these are all the schools in just one state, too. Just one state. These are all the schools in just one state. But I usually focus on like the top 4 to 5 schools because those are the schools that like make sense. But all these schools here that you see here, they make sense. To that state, I've been there before, it makes sense. So like let's start from their number one school. Let's see what their number one school. Their number one school sometimes is the largest. But let's see if their number one school has what Mr. Augustine is looking for. So Ohio State University, PhD, Geology. So I don't know if this makes sense to you, but looks like they have Earth Sciences here. Mr. Augustine, are you still there?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. So here in this school, what they have instead of geology, they call it Earth Sciences. And so one of the things that you want to do when you come, right, is that you want to check if this aligns with your area, like what you are looking for, right? But let's just assume that this aligns with what you are looking for the sake of time and for the sake of this application. This is a very straightforward school, right? They already put everything. The next thing you want to check is funding. Before you waste your time, you want to know what does their funding look like, right? So they tell you that they have a variety of funding options available, including as associateship and other employment, fellowship, loans, and scholarships. For program specific details. Okay. Now, yeah, they put the application deadlines for international students, for fellowship, for GTA funding. So whatever you are doing, you have to try. So this is against next year, August. So whatever you want to do, just try and submit before this November so that you might be able to qualify for either fellowship or GTA or both, right? While if you're applying for spring, so you can see they say they are considered under special circumstances. This is where you have to send an email to them and confirm, like if you feel like you have all the things that you need in your profile to apply for the schools. This is where you now need to send an email to this school and ask them, okay, and do you currently have openings for spring? Spring starts in January, or while fall or autumn starts in August. So they are talking about next year. Now, looks like they have funding. So the next thing is you want to double check, you want to double confirm if they really, really do have the funding. And that's where sending emails come from. And one thing about the US is they will always respond to your email. Like if you send them an email, I'll look for a sample of email drafts that you can send just to make inquiries and share in these documents. But basically what you want to add in that email is questions around if they have funding and are taking in students for that particular semester that you're looking to apply for, if your profile is competitive, if you need to secure a supervisor, because most schools you usually want to secure a supervisor that says, yes, I have space. But before you go and waste application fee, you need to see that, okay, the supervisor tells you, yes, you can apply. And I have space to my lab to supervise you. Because how GRA works most times is that professors will write proposals to do a research, and then the government will fund the research, and they will from that research be able to pay, for you, like for you to go to for you to do research on that. And other times, if you are working at the GTA, then it's the department that is taking care of you, that is paying your school fees and paying like your stipend or something like that. Now, so here is the question about their admission criteria. So after you confirm that okay, yes, there's possibility of funding, you need to also check their admission criteria. Today is English is do they require you to write all these exams like TOEFL or GRE? Um, that's like the big deal. Do they allow you to use unofficial transcripts? Like there are like 5,000 schools in the US. So if they are not going to allow you use an unofficial transcript, don't waste your time. Don't waste your money because they've not even given you admission yet. Unless you are very, very sure about your profile, then they'll give you admission. So you want to look for schools that will allow you use an unofficial transcript. An unofficial transcript is a transcript that you submit, like you scan the um copy that was given to you, like the result that was given to you in your school, your personal copy, you scan it into a PDF. That is your unofficial transcript. An official transcript means that you tell your school to send your transcript directly to the school. So, but most schools allow you to submit an unofficial transcript. While some schools require you to do like a West evaluation or like so a West evaluation is a conversion of your US sort of your Nigerian grades to a US grades. Why? Because for instance, in the US their A is not over 70, their A is 90 out of 100. And also they grade on a scale of 4.0, not 5.0. So this evaluation bodies will help you. They will take you pay them, you have to pay them to do it. That's if the school requires it. So um, so you pay them and you tell them what you want them to do, and then they will help you evaluate your results to an equivalent for the US. But if you don't have the money yet to do it, I think it's like over $100. If don't have their money yet, you can do like an IGPA calculator. So this IGPA calculator will give you an idea of what the equivalent of your results is um, over 4.0 scale. And it's free. You go and input your results manually and then they will help you give you. So it gives you an idea of how competitive your GPA is. And I always tell people that GPA is just one of the factors to consider. GPA is just one of the factors that they consider when you're applying to grad school in the US. They consider a lot of other factors, which are the things that I listed here. All right. So, but I usually advise that, just try and get at least a 2-1. Like if you have a 2-1, you should be good to go. But if you feel like, oh, I didn't have a 2-1, I didn't get a 2-1, maybe you got a 2-2. I usually recommend that you get a master's, like before you start um spending application money on application fee, time, and stress. I usually because I always this is one of my policies: put your best foot forward, right? So I always recommend that try and look for a school in Nigeria where you can be doing your masters while time is going. So when you do your masters while you're in Nigeria, in 1 or 2 years, you are done. And then within that time frame, you would have also been able to um maybe write maybe a GRE exam or whatever. All right. And then you'd have been able to have a more competitive profile by the time you finish your masters. Because by the time you finish your masters, I expect that you would at least be graduating with a better GPA. And that will give you a better chance when you're applying. Also, having a master's is a plus for you because you can then even decide, okay, no, um I don't want to go through school. I don't want to go through this route anymore. You can just apply for like express entry in Canada or like green card EB2 through EB2. in the US, if you already have a master's, you can just apply for that. And then you come here with your green card. And you come here, you don't even have to go to school again when you come here. But it's advisable that when you come here, you still try to get their degree, because they will always segregate and they always want to choose someone that has a US or Canada degree. Even someone that has a Canada degree, they will always probably choose someone that has a US degree, not someone that has another degree from outside. You know. But that's by the way. I feel like I'm digressing a lot. Let me follow what I have. So, Mr. Augustine, you've gotten to this site. You see that they are offering PhD. You've seen that they possibly have funding. You are looking. Next thing you want to be looking at is, oh, GRE is optional. Now, this is dicey because there will be people that you have to remember that you're not the only one applying. So GRE is graduate records exam. So GRE is like their own equivalent of JAMB for graduate school. So like most schools rate this GRE more than they rate your GPA, because they feel like this GRE is standard, is more standard, and it tests that you really, really are ready for grad school. And I've seen that people that write GRE, they usually do well in grad school. So GRE is going to test your English, your vocabulary. It's going to test your writing as well, writing skills. So GRE, I usually highly recommend it that people have GRE, especially if your GPA is not very strong. I usually recommend that you get a GRE, that you write a GRE. So for GRE, you can just go online, type GRE on Google. You will see how to register for it and the cost for that. And this link here, I'm going to share these documents. This link here, I'll drop it on the chat. Um, this link here provides you access to materials for you to be able to find like materials that will help you prepare for this GRE if you decide to take it. Because you can see here, they said it is optional depending on your potential it's optional per the potential academic assigned to the student. Right. So it is optional. So it means that you can apply to this school without a GRE and you go scot-free. But if you can have a GRE, just have it. Why? Because you want to spread your tentacles. You don't want to be limited to one school. Now, for English proficiency test, this is the one that I feel like is not really compulsory, because most schools waive this TOEFL for Nigeria, and one of the ways you have to really really um you have to really really look into it for you to be able to find information about that. So I don't know. There's really no link here. First and foremost, that we can use. Okay. So there's a way that you can find. There's a way that you can, but if it's difficult to find on the anything that is difficult for you to find on their website, right? You can include it in your inquiry email. There's a one there, like you send one-time inquiry email to them, and you can ask them, do they waive um TOEFL for Nigeria? If they waive TOEFL for Nigeria, yes, good. That saves you some money. There are lots of schools now that waive TOEFL or IELTS for Nigeria. They are saving money on writing TOEFL. Well, if you have the money, you're a NEPO baby, write it, because it will also add to your points, for applying to the school. And another thing I also recommend is keep in touch with your professors, because those are the people that will write recommendation letter for you. You need at least 2 to 3 recommendation letters. So keep in touch with them, work with them, If they have any publication going on, reach out to them. Tell them you are willing to contribute if they have any publication going on. Your undergraduate research, most schools in Nigeria, many people don't know this, but most schools in Nigeria, they have a research publication website. For instance, I graduated from LAUTECH, and I didn't know until some years ago that LAUTECH actually has journals. LAUTECH has journal for engineering and technology. They have journal for computing and information. So you can take your undergraduate research and tailor it into a research publication and publish it in your university's journal. It's not usually that expensive to do that. If you put it there with your supervisor's consent, add them as a name. You can add that to your CV and your resume. That will build your profile towards your application in this stuff. So that's something to look out for. Check your school where you graduated from. There are other schools also in Nigeria that have this thing where you can submit. See, they even have journal of accounting and finance for LAUTECH. Okay, so that's by the way. Um, okay. Um, I don't know. Their website doesn't really have as much details as I want to so that I can be able to effectively explain. But if you encounter to stuff like this, just send an email to them. Because another thing I wanted to see is I wanted to see their faculty. Let me go and check another screen. Another thing you want to check again is their faculty. So let's check this number two. University of Cincinnati. Another good thing to check when you are checking again is Google did not bring, but there's a way that Google usually brings the acceptance rates. But that's not coming up here. So University of Cincinnati PhD geology. Yeah, so this is straightforward. Yeah. So here, this is a good school to apply. A lot of their information is straightforward. So they allow unofficial transcripts. That's very good. Um, a list of countries that are granted automatic waiver can be found here. So let's see. Is Nigeria on the list? Um, this is the application fee. But you can always ask if they have application fee waivers. But like I said earlier, check, see if they really, really want you before you pay for the application fee. Their deadlines, transcripts, share transcript submission, um, transfer of letter of recommendations. Okay, so English proficiency. This is what we're looking for. We want to see if it's weight for Nigeria. So these are the list of the countries. Yes. So this is a good school to apply to. So you don't need to write your TOEFL or GRE to apply to this school. The next thing is, do they have funding? This is the person. So for this school, if you wanted to ask more questions about application fee waiver, um, you know, funding opportunities, if they have openings, this is the person that you will email. This is the person that you copy their email and then send an email to ask questions. Application fee deadline. Um, the application deadline is here. Um, Mr. Augustine is like, this your area is, you need to be more meticulous. So, they know their sites are not having. Okay. Okay. So another thing you can do is geology faculty. Great. So when you when you come here, when after an ideal situation, you have emailed that person. Most times the person is like the departmental coordinator or HOD. You have emailed them to ask them if they have openings, if there is funding. Okay, you send them email and say, okay, please, I want to apply for spring 2027. This is my CV attached. Do you have funding for this semester? Do you know if there's available funding? Is school taking people? Do you have application waiver? So if they tell you no, they tell you no application waiver, don't give up yet. If they tell you yes, you are taking new students, your profile looks like something that can work for admission to this school. That's a green light. So the next thing you want to do, another question you ask them is, do I have to secure an advisor before I get admission? Or is it after admission that I secure an advisor? You know, because some schools, your funding is contingent on you securing an advisor before you are admitted. While for some schools, they need to admit you first. When you come, after you spend time with them for a while, that's when they will now um they would like you be there for like a year to look for which of the professors will work for you. That's when you now choose which professor you want to work for and continue to do your research. So the program coordinator or HOD would have given you all that information through that email. So after that conversation, and you feel like, okay, I'm good to go with these schools. The next thing is you go on Google and type that school, your degree. That's like what we did to get here, and then you type faculty. So faculty in the US, they are called their faculty is what you call the lecturers. You know, that's what you call the lecturers that are or professors that are in that college. Okay. So what we call faculty, because in Nigeria we have like faculty of engineering, right? They call it college, yes. So they'll say, okay, college of, like you can see here, so college of arts and sciences. In Nigeria, it would have been faculty of arts and sciences. No, it's college of arts and sciences. Now the faculty are the people. So in your email, everybody here is a doctor, and then address them by their last name. So this guy now is a professor. You can call him Dr. Algil, Dr. Brett, Dr. Crowley. So you send a cold email. I will also add a sample for cold email. can also find sample for cold emails in the letter that I attached to you, in this document that I shared um, through this link in the chat. So, Mr. Augustine, let's assume that this school looks like a good fit for you. Maybe your GPA is looking great, and maybe you already have your GRE. You are currently in the process of publishing a paper. Great. Next thing is, and then the person replies you and says, you are welcome to reach out to professors in the department to see if they are willing to support you or fund you. And sometimes is that HOD that want to take you as their students, especially if they find your profile to be very good. So you reach out to this guy, you tell him, um, so for this guy, for instance, the first thing you want to do is you want to go and view his profile, right? You want to view his profile. And another thing I'll say is, Mr. Augustine, don't limit your research area to just medical and environmental, rather look for areas that have funding. You get that, like, focus on funding. The earlier you realize this, the better for you. Now look at this guy. The first thing you want to read out, you want to read about this professor's profile. You want to know his research area. You want to know if his research area looks good and looks like something that you can resonate with and work with. You want to also know if he has money. So if you look at this guy now, this guy has funding. This guy has experience with funding. Like, look at all the grants that he has won. So there's probability that he actually currently has a grant and probably needs a student. So there's probability for that, but you can't know unless you ask him. So the last updated one that he shared here is from 2012. So sometimes these are profiles are not entirely up to date. So someone like this, you look at his research area. His specialization is sedimentary geochemistry with application to oceanographic. So Emmanuel, don't let me bite my tongue, Mr. Augustine, and global
Sir,
system analysis. His research is directed along this button. So you've seen um this area. The next thing you want to do is you want to check his publications, his most recent publication, right? Sometimes what you have here is not, look at, for him to have emboldened this thing, then this thing is very important to you. So you don't have to read everything. Just go there, read the introduction, read the abstract. In your code email to him, let me see, let me open this document. See if there's a code email sample that we can work with. So this document contains letter draft for application fee waiver for cold emails. So let me see. Now, one thing about the US or Western world is that they are very busy. They work with time. You get, like, they are very busy people, and they like it when you go straight to the details. Like, just go straight to the point. Don't, like, imagine me waking up early in the morning and coming to work early in the morning, and I find an email and I open the email, and the email is this long, and I have like 10 to 20 other emails that I have to attend to that are pressing. You get, now put yourself in my shoes. Would I be willing to read through this to the end? So make your email as concise as possible, but I'll still use it because I want to use it as a guide, right? Now, in this email, basically straightforward, you introduce yourself. Tell them if you have a strong GP, tell them your GPA. If your GPA is not strong, tell them you have work experience of so years, or you have so publication, or like just put your best foot forward. Tell them something sweet about yourself in the introduction. The next thing is hype them. The email is not about you, it's about them. So you hype them that on their page, well, you went on their page and you saw that he has research focus in paleontology and oceanography, blah 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 blah. And yeah, and then you see, okay, like this guy now. There's something called Google Scholar. So Google Scholar, you go and look for this person's profile. Look at this guy is a legend. Like the guy has 45,000 citations. So these are the things that you put in your email. Like you hype him. Like you saw all his publications. These are his publications. Like this guy is a legend. He's an expert. Like you saw all his publications. You saw that he's focused on this geography, stratigraphy, with over 100 H index. And like this is somebody that you like him to mentor you. Like you went through his most cited work. You can say you went through his most cited work from year 2026. But I recommend going through something that is more recent to what he's doing now. So if you check when was the last time he published a paper, it's like this guy is no longer publishing. Oh, look at he has a new paper from 2026. Wow, look at how many paper he has in 2026. So you can pick one. This one already has one citation. You can pick one and say, okay, you were going through one of it. You can just for that letter, for that email, you don't need to stress yourself. Just go through the this one is so you have to pay for accessory. I don't know, just look for one of them, read the abstracts, read the introduction, say a few things about the paper that you really like this paper. It contains so that you like what is maybe his findings on these innovative findings. The way you find the innovative findings in the conclusion or even in the abstract. You find his finding in blah 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 interesting. After you hype him, where's the coding? After you hype him, then you tell him that, then you tell him a little bit about yourself, that it aligns his research, you like to work under him, and it aligns with you because you've done so and so, you have expertise in so and so, and all these ones does not concern you. This is like you're writing an OPT. You don't need all this story. Just tell him, if you have work experience, anything, any skill that you have that aligns with what they are doing in his lab, then this is where you are really going. This is what you really want. You want to ask him if he currently has um room for a PhD. Don't just say graduate student, say PhD. That's what you want, and by email or phone. Okay, then you let him know that you'd like him to get back to you or reach out to him for more for you to have more conversation about it. All these things you should have added it in your first paragraph. Your GRE blah blah blah. You'd have added it in your first paragraph. You get. Let me see if there's another cool thing. Yeah, look at this. This is very short. Just one page. Okay, blah blah blah. Don't need this. Don't need all this story. Just go straight to the point. Hello, dear Professor Payton. Um, yes, okay. I hope this email gets you in good time, or I hope you are doing great. My go straight. My name is blah 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 blah. From blah 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 blah. I am looking forward to applying for a PhD. blah blah. So this should be your first paragraph. Introduce yourself. Who are you? Why are you sending me an email? That's the first thing on their mind. So you tell them, introduce yourself, sell yourself. Look at this guy, he sold himself. Even put 1% in the faculty. Put your GRE score, put it up front, blah blah blah. Then you let them know why you are writing to them. You are writing to them because you want to become a PhD student under them for a particular for fall 2022. If I was the one, this will come next, right? Then this is where you hype them. I was thrilled after yes, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. After I read your paper and went through your profile, I saw that you have a research interest in blah blah blah, and saw your contribution in that field. All these things, there's ChatGPT now to help you word your stuff well, to help you put these thoughts together. But once you have your template, you can just extract and remove. So this is a good template. What I'll just do to this template, okay, I can't edit it. So what I'll just do to this template would be to copy this, bring it here in my first paragraph, go here next, then go here next. Then talk about yourself again, the skill you have acquired, how you fit into their role, how you be great assets to their lab. Then let them know you have attached your CV. Always attach your CV and transcript. Now, speaking of CV, there's a way that you have to organize your CV. It's not just like your work CV. All right, so now look at this person, the way they organize their CV. You put your name, it doesn't have to be fancy. Put your name, put your address, put your phone number, put your email, put your LinkedIn profile, put your professional summary, your research interest, your education. Go to your education straight. Let them know, okay, and then put your GPA in your education, your thesis title. The next thing you want to put after education is, your skills and competence. Let them know, okay, these are my skills. These are the software skills I have. These are my personal strength skills. Your research experience. Now, for this, you don't necessarily have to break it up into research or teaching experience. Just write experience. And then, first of all, you put the experiences that are related to the research. If you have them, put them there. Those are the first things that you want to put there for them to see. And then descriptions that kind of relate to what they are doing, put them there for them to see. Then your publications. Remember, I talked about how if you are a student, you can publish your undergraduate research in your school's website. So, Mr. Augustine, you can maybe reach out to your professor, see if they want to publish their work, or reach out to them, see if they have any publication they are currently working on, see how you can contribute to that publication. Attend conferences. Attend conferences and workshops. Don't just attend. It's good to attend church programs. It's good to attend church conferences, but also attend secular conferences, academic conferences, conferences that will build your profile, that will build your resume, that where you will meet with people and learn. There are a lot of conferences like exhibitions in Nigeria. Look out for them. See if you can go attend, especially in Lagos. Sometimes they do conferences in your school. You know, attend those conferences that they do in your school. Reach out to your professors if there are any conferences that they are happy that they can invite you to. All these if you are still a student, I'm sure you're a part of organizations for your, like maybe if you're a computer science student, they'll have an organization for Nigerian maybe Society of Computer Science. This is Nigerian Society of Mechanical Engineers. They usually have conferences. Make inquiries, ask questions about those conferences, even if it's to online, attend online. Just have a proof that you attended. All these things will help in your profile. Your industrial experience, volunteer experience goes here. Your NYSC experience can go here. If you currently are maybe doing teaching work, look for time that you can maybe go to companies and tell them, can I volunteer with you? Can I volunteer to work with you or to as an intern? Those things will be the things that will be more relevant to your profile. Don't limit yourself. Volunteer opportunities, volunteer in leadership and experience opportunities, whether in church, whether in your place of work. Be active, volunteer. Volunteering roles can help. Apply for awards, apply for scholarships, apply for grants for your small business. If you are someone that is an entrepreneur, apply for all those small things. Those things can be things that contribute. But if your profile is not as prestigious as this person's profile, it still doesn't mean you can build it up. You can package your profile well to look good. But always attach your CV to your email when you are sending an email to those professors. Now you only need one yes most times. So you might send to like 20 professors and they tell you, oh, I still have a student. Oh, I don't have money. Oh, I'm not taking students. And then one of them will end up saying, oh, I like your profile. Go ahead and apply. That one person can be the one that opens the door for you, to your greater opportunities in life. So I've gone through um everything. Another thing I would say again is please apply early. Apply early. And to apply early, it means you need to know the deadlines. You need to be on top of your game with the deadlines. But the first step is know what you need and know what you have. And then figure out how to go from what you have to what you need. You don't have it. So if you need a GRE, how do you get a GRE? Right. So very important. Now, another very important document before I will begin to round up now. But let me quickly talk about um, SOPs. So another very important document is your SOPs. So your SOP is where you sell yourself, you market yourself to them. Um, Let me use this guy's SOP again. So like SOP, statement of purpose, some of them call it personal statements. So basically what you want to have in your SOP is you want to talk about your past. Like what triggered your interest in this area. Now everything is packaging, like I said. So you want to talk about your past. What triggered your interest in this area of research? Like why are you pursuing this area of research, right? So that's the first thing. Like, was it so Mr. Augustine, for instance, maybe you notice that when flood happens, flood, you know, causes erosion, and the erosion, kind of makes the road spoil, makes the gutter or the sewage system become more too enlarged and dangerous to life, and you're like, how can we better understand the terrain of our city to be able to make the civil engineers develop more effective drainage system so that when it rains, it will no longer be eroding the road and washing away houses and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you visited a friend, and when it's raining season in their house in that area, um, even though they have tiles in their house, water starts gushing in from the floor, from around the floor. So you find a story that triggered your interest in this research area or in this program that you're applying for, and how that has led you wanting to pursue this degree now, and why you are gunning for this degree. What is special about this particular degree that this school is offering, and why you are really applying for it. That's your first paragraph. The second paragraph is what is the connection between that interest and what you are doing right now? What is the connection between your past and your present. So what are you doing currently? So are you working currently, right? And before you started working now, what got you to this place where you are now? Was it your GPA, right? So you talk about, okay, based on this interest, I already pursued a PhD in blah blah blah. Oh, sorry, in a bachelor's in blah blah blah, and I'm currently working in so and so and so, and I've submitted publications in so so and so journal with a research focus on so so and so. This is where you talk about all that stuff. In so it's a little bit of your past into your present, a little bit of your past into your present, right? So what did you do in your past that made you come to where you are right now? Now you now talk about where you are right now. So what are you doing where you are right now that qualifies you to move to the next phase, which is this school that you want to apply to? So what are you doing right now? How does where you are working right now, how does your contribution in where you are working right now make you stand out? So maybe while where you are working right now, you use MATLAB, use Python, use all these things. These things are things that they are looking for in their current role. And you are marketing yourself that you already use them in your current role, right? So you talk about what you are currently doing now and how that thing. So you are like you think. So it's not just about, oh, I have 4 years experience. No. In those 4 years, what what have you done in this your current workplace that positions you well for the next phase? You know, again, he has this guy has done a lot of stuff, self-development stuff again that he has done, like certifications. He has also worked as a research assistant, blah blah blah. Now, another thing they want to see in your SOP is not just like your academic, like what about your volunteering roles in leadership? Like do you have anything in your volunteering role and leadership that you have done also makes you stand out for this particular application? Now, the next thing again is you want to bring them back to all these things position me or gave me the confidence to want to apply to this school. And also, I've done my due diligence about this school. So this is where you go into more details about why you are really, really coming to this school. And one of the ways to get their weak points is to mention names of professors that are doing things that interest you in school. And then reaching out and maybe letting them know, oh, I've contacted this professor and he told me to apply, will be something that fits into this paradigm. You can mention one or two professors here. You don't have to mention too many professors. Then again, you let them know why you chose this university. Of course, you chose it because of their faculty, you chose it because of the facility they have, you chose it because of their research area. Look for something interesting about them that interests you and why you choose it. And then you let them know in your closing paragraph is where you let them know your long-term goal. So what do you plan to do after your PhD? So are you going to go for a postdoc? Are you going to become a professor? Are you going to work in research and development for an industry? This is where you tell them the future, what you want to do after you graduate. So that's all about SOPs. Um, yeah, so I think that I have done justice to practically all the points that I highlighted here. Um, like I said earlier, if you have outgrown grad school and you have a master's, then look into these opportunities for USA or this for Canada. They also have it for Australia and those countries. But they are usually more expensive. And we're not talking about them today. Also, I want to encourage you that this application requires patience, requires precision, requires spacing, and trust me, it's going to be worth it in the end. Um, Now, I would like to take questions. Does anybody have questions for us? Okay. Please, please go ahead and ask your question, Mr. Peace.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you.
Yes, so
I
you're
don't know what
welcome. I didn't know you
I
were
don't know
here.
what yeah, thank you very much for the insightful session. I don't know what time it is there, but thank you for it. I want to ask that you've talked about publications, and is there any particular number of publications that will be effective for this purpose? The second question is that is there any age limits for the postgraduate, which is the masters and PhD? Yeah, that's my question.
So minimum of 0 to 1 publication will work, to be honest. Minimum of 0 to 1. I didn't have any publication when I got admitted. And I knew a lot of people that didn't have any and they got admitted. But things have gotten harder. So you have to be more competitive, right? Because as the year goes by, that time that I applied, the information was probably not this much. The scrutiny was not this, like in terms of like the administration that was there was maybe lenient. But things get tougher the more people are informed about it, the more you have a variety of people applying. So you want to, have as much edge as possible. So even just one publication is okay. That's why I talked about your undergraduate research. You can publish it in your school's journal if they have a journal. So or reach out to your professor if they are working on a paper and partner with them. As long as you, even if you have it, even if you don't have it published yet, you can add it to your CV and say in print, or in process. So yeah. And then what was the other question?
Yeah, the other question was the
Age.
age limit.
Yeah, so honestly, there's no age limit. There's no age limit. There are people here that they already had a PhD in Nigeria and they still came here to do PhD again. So there's really no age. I've seen people that are like 50 years old and they still came here and because they wanted to bring their children to continue to have a better opportunity and they are doing fine. So there's no age limit, to be honest. But as long as you're not yet like 60 years old, close to retiring, but like if you're still in your 30s, you're still in your 40s, you can still apply. But then you know that when it comes to your visa interview, you have to be able to show them why at this stage in your career you're not deciding, or at this age or at this stage in your career you're not deciding to go over to get a master's or a PhD. But when you reach that bridge, you cross it. So there's really no age limit. Mr. Isaac, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Victor, for this information. So
Yes, sir.
I would like to
You're
ask,
welcome.
because for example, because I remember some years back, or about 1 year or two, so I applied for a master's in the US. So I got part funding
Yeah,
and everything. So the problem now was now the visa,
yeah,
which so I would like to ask now, if the visa comes in late and
yeah,
program is already on, is there a room
yeah.
for you to tell the university to defer your admission to another year? Will it be possible?
Yeah, so like now, yeah, it's very possible. So that was why when I started, I recommended that I apply PhD. Why? Because most professors feel like as a PhD, you're going to be here for much longer, right? And so they want to take you. And also, another thing about masters is they are children. So they usually have this thing where they are undergraduates from their final year can just do 1 year masters. They call it accelerated masters. They can just do 1 year masters and then you know be out of here. But most times usually extends into like a year and a half. So they will first pick that guy that graduated from their school and wants to do a 1 year masters before they pick you that is coming from Nigeria and wants to apply for a master's because it's like, is it really worth the investment to bring somebody all the way from Nigeria just to come and do a master's? Because most of their research grants last for more than 2 years. They go for like 4 to 5 years. So they usually prefer to have a PhD that will be there longer to work on it for them rather than having to start training another graduate student over and over again when you leave. So it's highly advisable to get a PhD because then the professor will go all the way out to ensure that you get your visa, especially if it means giving you full fund. But you find yourself in a situation where you do the masters and you didn't get full funding. Please go and do proof of funds. These sites too can give you loan. Sorry, can't find the site again. Check these sites, find a loan, find additional scholarship, do everything you can, to ensure that you don't go to that embassy with partial funding. Make sure you go there with full funding. You get, or if you're a Nepo baby, tell your daddy to give you the account number. But the thing is, the best is to have your daddy or your parents willing to sponsor you to go to school. Because here in the US, it doesn't really fly if you say, okay, my auntie, or my brother, or my uncle, because their mentality here is that your uncle has his own responsibility. Why is this sponsoring? So like just make sure you go to that embassy with a full fund. And if you feel like, oh, you're not able to meet up, tell the school to please extend it for you. If your visa is not coming in early, the school can always um give you defer your admission by at least a year. So if you got it in January this year, you can defer it either to December of that same year or the following January of the next year. So yes, you can always defer your admission while you are figuring out your visa or looking at applying to other schools. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. Then secondly, although I've already done my masters. So
Great.
from the master to the PhD, I think
I'm with you. I'm with you.
okay. So I think I completed my masters early this year. So concerning the masters to the PhD program, I think the steps you gave us, I think it's very helpful for me applying through those things. Because I said that some what you did also, I did the same thing, but there are particular things that I omitted. So I'll follow up
Okay.
with it. Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, no problem. And you can always reach out to me if you have additional questions. So this your masters. Have you published any publication or are you working on publishing?
Okay, I work towards publishing because I had like a thesis in my BSc, so as well as
Yes.
my masters.
Yes. So you have two potential publications. Publish it fast. You don't have to look for prestigious journals. Just publish it fast. Then open a Google Scholar account. After your publication, open a Google Scholar account and you know just have that account there. It makes you stand out. When you come and they look at your CV and you have two publications, you already even know what Google Scholar is. It makes you stand out to them. Like, okay, this person knows what they are doing. You know. So please talk to your supervisors, see how you can publish them ASAP. And you don't have to wait till you publish them. Once you start working on it, put it in your resume and write in manuscripts, like actually writing it and continue to submit your application. Even you that have a master's, you don't even need to stress yourself doing GRE again. With your master's, you're already a very strong candidate for a PhD. Just do your publication and you should be good to go.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, with full funding. So please, just the earlier the better. Start. Don't give up. But gone for maybe August. Gone for either January next year or August next year. Because I feel like now that you already have your masters, you already have your transcripts, just gone for January next year or August next year. Don't worry, by all this band stuff is drama. People are praying. I know people are praying. People like Sister Lucy, they're already firing. So the ban is going to be lifted soon. Any other question? Please ask your questions now. Mr. Augustine, please let me hear your question.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir, for this section. It's very much insightful, particularly to me. I've gained a lot today. And
Yes,
though
of course.
I've been trying to navigate all these sites too sometimes, but I couldn't get it the way you have explained today. So I think I have something to start with again now. So thank you very much, sir, once again for this section. Like
Welcome.
I want, yes, I want to ask. Though my focus before was for MSc because I only have bachelor's degree. So I was like, though then I used to look at PhD like those who have experience and could be able to handle some task without
Yeah.
supervision and like that. So and that is why I want to ask that what is the expectation for a person who is going for PhD in US? Like how does it look like? How is the environment look like for such a person? So that's one of my questions, sir.
All right. So for a PhD in the US, it depends on the culture of your lab, depends on your supervisor, right? So and the size of your lab as well. So if you are working in a big lab, so maybe a big lab would be maybe to supervisor as postdoc, has like 3 to 4 PhD students, maybe 3 to 4 master students. That's a big lab, right? And you definitely have people to guide you. If your supervisor is not really available, your people are going to guide you. Now, the thing is that when you come to your PhD, the way they view you as a PhD person is like a disciple. You're like your supervisor's disciple. You don't know your left from right as far as research is concerned. So your supervisor is going to try and guide you through all the way. They know that you weren't doing this research area when you were in Nigeria, but they believe that you have transferable skills. So one of the things that PhD will require of you is to be able to learn fast, to be able to teach yourself, but also ask questions, right? So yes, everything you need will be given to you in this place. Plus, AI. The presence of AI really makes research a lot more doable. Why? Because you can ask AI a lot of questions. Maybe even if it's with like all these tools like softwares, AI can guide you in using all these softwares. So like, and then it just depends on your supervisor. Have a good rapport with your supervisor, but really, there's really no pressure on you. But it depends on your supervisor. Some supervisors will leave you to do your thing. They'll just monitor you once in a while, you meet them once in a while. While some will micromanage you. Some, it doesn't matter what you do, they will not like it. So that's when you now begin to consider switching supervisors. Because supervisor is very, very important when you are coming to the US. And that's why I always recommend, you know, go for American professors. American professors, their culture is different. As long as you are honest, as long as you are humble, as long as you are hardworking, and they like you, they will help you. They will make life easy for you. All right. Do you have any other question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. So another thing again I want to ask is that currently I have 2 publications, and
Wow.
as well I'm still working with my HOD, whereby is trying to we are going to work on a particular. We are doing a work together currently.
That's
So
good.
yes, sir. So and I want to know, like, because like I just want to know. I just want to have a kind of a step by step like view now. What should I do first now, or what should I put together now to make sure that I am able to be in the right place for this
Okay.
grad school?
All right. Permit me to ask, is your GPA above 4.0?
Yes, 4.43.
Then the next thing that you want to do is, thank you for asking that question because I forgot to mention it. The first thing you want to do is, as you go through the list of schools, right? So because me,
Yes.
I'm more experienced with this thing, that's why it took me short time. I know what I'm looking for, but these things will guide you on what to look for. Now you already have like 90% of what they are looking for in a PhD student. All those people that you wrote count as your work experience. So you can say you are a research assistant in your HOD's lab in your university. And those work that you did on those papers counts into your work experience. So you already have your work experience section solid. You already have publication section solid. You already have your academic profile solid. Your GPA solid. Now the next thing is just how you craft your SOP and your recommendation letter. What you just need, what would just be the icing on the cake for you right now, would be to get a supervisor that is willing to fund you. That's all you need right now. To find a professor that says, yes, you can apply. Yes, I would like to be your supervisor. So what you should be focusing on right now is the schools. Look for schools that waive GRE. Because I can imagine, I don't know if you have money and time, do GRE. Look for schools that are offering GRE or that waive GRE for you. Look for schools that waive TOEFL. See if they have application fee waiver, right? But before even application fee waiver, cold email professors in those schools. So if you see school that has funding, school that has application fee waiver, you need to first of all then ask the grad coordinator if they are taking in students. Say you want to go on for August next year. So see if they are taking, if they have funding or intake for the semester you are looking to apply for. You get, and then once all these things give you green light, then let's check the list of professors. See the ones that have research. See the ones that have grants. Email them. Now another thing to look out for in supervisors is you need to look out for. Now this is not a one size fits all approach, but it will really help you. Now there are different levels of professors. There's professor, like full professor. These guys, they're usually maybe running towards the end of their career. If you apply for a master's to this kind of person, it may take you. Why? Because he probably doesn't want to have somebody staying too long for like 5 years at this point, because at the peak of his career, he's not looking for PhD students. Why? Because the number of PhD students you have or postdoc you have carries weight more than master students in your promotion as a professor. So this guy, if you say okay, masters, and he has funding, he might say okay, yes, I'll take you. Same as this guy, I saw somebody associate professor. So same as this guy now. This guy is an associate professor already, although he's very young. So same as this guy is, he might take you if you say you want to do masters. You get, but if you come in, he's going to stress you. You work for him a lot. Why? Because he's also still trying to figure out the research he does. He's not yet an expert compared to this guy. in the research. So both of you will be figuring things out together. His lab is probably not as big, but most times people like this, they are already like very, very way ahead in their research. Like at least you do well under them, but they will push you, they will make you work minimum. So someone like this will want a PhD. He may consider masters, but he will want a PhD. Why? Because he also wants to get out of this associate professor to becoming a full professor. Now, someone like, okay, they don't have assistants. So if we see assistant professors, they are still actively building. They are still actively building their lab, building their profile. So assistant professors will want you to do PhD for them, do PhD under them. They are looking for PhD students to supervise. Why? Because they want to grow. The PhD students they have in their lab will help their profile to grow. It will stretch you as well. Why? Because they want you to work. Because the work you do is what they will take glory for the work you do, and then they'll grow. But it doesn't stop you as well because you too are getting better in the process. So those are some things to consider. So I always recommend just go for the one that has funding first. Look for the one that has funding and that his research area looks really aligns to you. Then secondly, I would say, try and look for all these professors. If you want an easy life when you come, look for professors that have gone far. And then sometimes the problem also it depends on your profile. Problem with professors like this is that they may now have like high taste. They may have high taste, in terms of no, sorry. Um, these associate professors or assistant professors, they are the ones that may have high taste. Why? Because they don't really want to sometimes they don't have time, they don't have that patience to be grooming you. They want you to get it, and like they want you to come like um our president Tinubu. They want you to come to their lab, hit the ground running, and hit the ground running. You get. So those are some of the things to consider. They may want somebody that already has research experience, lots of research experience. So that once that person comes, person start doing publications for them. That's the thing about assistant professors sometimes, but not all of them, especially the international ones. We get. So that's just what I advise you. I think Mr. Augustine, I want you to also consider doing a master's while you're in Nigeria, while you're in all this process, because you don't really have control over when this will eventually click. So while you are still in the process, and then just be like, do like bro, sorry, what's his name now? Person that spoke earlier on that already did his master. So while you are still waiting to figure out all these things that are happening, trying to get your foot on the ground, you can also be working towards a master's because that will also be very, 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 be very strong in building your profile. But regardless, just start sending cold emails to professors, to schools. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Our time is fast spent. I would like to see if there's anyone more question. Is there any more question? At least just one more question for me to answer. All right. Is the going, going, so no questions. All right. Thank you for joining us this night. Really appreciate your time and your questions. I will try and I'll try and send this particular document for you guys to be able to maybe refresh your mind. I feel like this document really is, it's just straight to the point, especially with guiding you through. And I hope that the video recording will be helping to guide you through as well. It's going to be available on YouTube for you to access it in the future. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I look forward to your success and I hope that everything goes well. Yeah, sure. I mean,
Thank you
thank you,
very much.
guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you
of
so much.
course. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. God bless you. Bye.